லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க. நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Question number 1. Smoking is not associated with increased incidence of cancers in. Cancer is a disease characterized by an uncontrolled division of cells and metastasis. Smoking is not associated with an increased incidence of cancer of large intestine or urinary bladder. Smoking can cause lip, throat, and lung cancer. It also causes diseases like emphysema. So the answer for this question is option B, large intestine. Question number 2. Which of the following is not a characteristic feature of the vector PBR322? PBR322 was the first artificial cloning vector constructed by Bolivar and Rodriguez in the year of 1977. In PBR322, P refers to plasmid, BR refers to Bolivar and Rodriguez. The scientist that constructed this plasmid 322 refers the number of given to the distinguish this plasmid from the other plasmids developed in the same laboratory. Plasmid PBR322 contains two resistance genes, namely ampicillin resistant, that is AMP capital R gene, and tetracycline resistance TET capital R. These resistance genes are used as a selectable markers. Besides, this plasmid PBR322 has a variety of unique recognition sites for restriction endonucleases. Two unique sites, that is PST1 and PVUL, are located within the AMPR, that is the gene, whereas BAM are located within the TET-R gene. So the answer for this question is option C. Question number 3. With respect to ABO blood group, there are four major blood types because this blood group is determined by three alleles: I power A, I power B, and I power O. Alleles I power A and I power B are codominant. Blood group A is determined by I power A, I power A, or I power A, I power O. Blood group B is I power B, I power B, or I power B, I power O. Blood group O is I power O, I power O. Blood group AB is I power A, I power B. So the answer for this question is option C. Three alleles of which two are codominant and the third is recessive. Question number 4. The function of the largest lymphatic organ in man is. Spleen is the largest lymphoid organ in mammals and act as a hemopoietic tissue because the synthesis of WBC takes place in spleen. The destruction and recycling of old RBC cells takes place here, and the spleen is also a blood reservoir. So the answer is option C, to act as hemopoietic tissue. Question number 5. In biochemical phase, fixation of carbon dioxide occurs by. In biochemical, that is a dark phase, a 5-carbon sugar ribulose 1,5-biphosphate RUBP act as carbon dioxide biphosphate carboxylase, that is Rubisco, and form 6 molecules of an extremely unstable 6-carbon compound. This compound is converted into 3 carbon molecules of PGA. The capturing of carbon dioxide is called carbon fixation because it fixes gaseous carbon dioxide into a relatively stable organic molecule PGA. So the answer is option A, Rubisco. Question number 6. Tiger is not a resident in which one of the following national park? Tiger is not a resident in Gir National Park. Gir has a large population of moss crocodile, which is among the 40 species of reptiles and amphibians recorded in the sanctuary. According to official census, Gir has about 300 lions and 300 leopards, spotted deer, This other is called as chital, chausinga, chinkara, that is other is called as Indian gazelle, and wild boar thrive in Gir. So the answer is option B, Gir. Question number 7. Cretinism is due to hyposecretion of thyroxine during the growth years or birth or in childhood results in hypothyroidism or cretinism. Two important symptoms are dwarfism and mental retardation. So the answer is option D, hyposecretion of thyroxine in childhood. Question number 8. The given diagram illustrates the presence of starch can be used as an indicator for the detection of traces of iodine in aqueous solution. Amylose is responsible for the formation of deep blue color in the test for the presence of starch. The actin of amylase enzyme breaks the amylose into glucose molecules and the blue color will not be formed. So the answer is option D, both amylose and iodine in the solution. Question number 9. Match the following and choose the correct option. So while you're seeing column 1 and column 2, ligands are divided into different categories based on their habitat. Saxicolous are the types that grow on stones or rocks, example, dermatocarpon. Corticolous are the type that grow on bark of trees, example, Usnea, Parmelia. Terricolous are the type that grow on soil, example, Cladonia. Lignicolous are the type that grow on wood, example, Calicium. So the correctly matching option is option A. Question number 10. Which of the curve shows how oxygen is loaded and unloaded due to partial pressure? The oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve under normal condition is sigmoid shaped. The lower part of the curve indicate dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin, whereas the upper part indicates the acceptance of oxygen by hemoglobin. The shifting of oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve to the right by carbon dioxide partial pressure increasing is known as Bohr effect. So the answer for this question is option C, Bohr's curve. Question number 11. Deficiency in the activity of adrenal cortex lead to hyposecretion of glucocorticoids, which is a hormone of adrenal cortex, results in Addison's disease. Addison's disease also causes an increase in the number of WBC, resulting into eosinophilia, lymphocytosis, leukocytosis, etc. So the answer is option A, undersecretion of adrenocorticoids. Question number 12. Which one of the following is a possibility for most of us in regard to breathing by making a conscious effort? Eustachian tube connect middle ear cavity. It is always called as tympanic cavity with nasopharynx. Approximately it is 35 mm long in adults, which help in breathing out by closing both the nose and mouth. The answer is option B. One can breathe out air through Eustachian tubes by closing both the nose and the mouth. Question number 13. Type of flower and pollination that is observed in the given plant is Clistogamous flowers never open and in them only self pollination operated. In Camelina bengalensis, it is commonly called as Kankua. The underground flowers are clistogamous, in which clistogamy, it is a type of self pollination takes place. Most of the flowers are chasmogamous, undergoes cross pollination. So the answer for this question is option D, Flower 1 is Chasmogamous, undergoes cross pollination. Flower 2 is Clistogamous, undergoes self pollination. Question number 14. The development of Funaria gametophyte always initiated from. Bryophyta includes the simplest and primitive land plants characterized by the presence of independent gametophyte and parasitic sporophyte. Spore is the first cell of gametophytic generation, and in Funaria the spore germinates to form protonema. So the answer is option B, protonema. Question number 15. Microsporangia of Zygus is formed. The microsporophyll of Zygus bears several hundred microsporangia. It is otherwise called as pollen sacs. On its abaxial surface as a cluster of 3 to 6 called sorus. A mature microsporangium encloses large number of haploid microspores. So the answer is option A. Abaxially on the middle portion of microsporophyll. Question number 16. If the seedling are grown in darkness, the seedlings grown in darkness are taller due to the activity of auxin, because auxin contents in darkness are higher than light. A signal from the cell wall decide that in the dark, seeds grow into long yellow sprouts instead of turning green and forming leaves. So the answer is option D. They are taller than those grow in light. Question number 17. Statement 1. The largely tropical Amazonian rainforest in North America has the greatest biodiversity on earth. Statement 2. Amazon forest is home to more vertebrates than invertebrates. The largely tropical Amazonian rainforest in South America has the greatest biodiversity on earth. It is home to more than 40,000 species of plants, 3,000 of fishes, 1,300 of birds, 427 of mammals, 427 of amphibians, 378 of reptiles, and of more than 1,25,000 invertebrates. Scientists estimate that in these rainforests there might be at least 2 million insect species waiting to be discovered and named. So the answer for this question is option B. Both the statements are false. Number 18. Highest and lowest population in India is in. According to 2001 census, the highest population state in India is UP. There are 166 millions, 18.17, and lowest population in India is Sikkim, 5.40 lakh. So the answer is option B, UP and Sikkim. Question number 19. Due to non-disjunction of chromosomes during spermatogenesis, sperms carry both sex chromosomes. That means 22 autosomes and XY. And some sperms do not carry any sex chromosome. 22 autosomes and 0. If these sperms fertilize normal eggs, 22 autosomes and X chromosome, what type of genetic disorders appear among the offsprings? Klinefelter syndrome is due to trisomy of sex X chromosomes. It is formed by the union of an abnormal XX egg and normal Y sperm, or normal X egg and abnormal XY sperm. The individual has 47 chromosomes, 44 autosomes, and XXY chromosome. Such persons are sterile males called feminized male with underdeveloped testes, mental retardation, female like sparse body hair, and knocked knees, long limbs, and with some female characters such as high-pitched voice, and enlarged breast. Turner syndrome occurs due to monosomy 2n-1. It is formed by the union of abnormal 0 egg and a normal X sperm, or a normal egg and an abnormal 0 sperm. The individual has diploid with 45 chromosomes, 44 autosomes, and 1 X chromosome instead of 46. Such individuals are sterile females who have rudimentary ovaries, underdeveloped breast, small uterus, fluffy fingers, short stature, less than 5 feet height, webbed neck, abnormal intelligence, cardiovascular abnormalities, and hearing impairment. So the answer for this question is option A, Klinefelter syndrome and Turner syndrome. Question number 20. The fungus that may cause disease in human being is Aspergillus causes a lung disease called as aspergillosis that affects the respiratory activity, including pneumonia. The allergic sinusitis is also caused by the Aspergillus infection. The fungus Aspergillus produces aflatoxin, which are carcinogenic and may cause cancer in human being. So the answer is option B, Aspergillus. Question number 21. One of the following blocks the entry of additional sperms once a single sperm cell encounters ova. The zona pellucida is an important integral structure for the egg both before and after fertilization. The zona pellucida is name given to a clear zone or region that surrounds the unfertilized egg and works to keep out additional sperm that hangs around after the first union. It even stays close to the developing cells after fertilization to help out along the road to implantation in the uterus or womb. So the answer is option D, zona pellucida. Question number 22. 4 daughter cells formed after meiosis are. During meiosis, the process of recombination occurs and the daughter cells have a half number of chromosomes with respect to parent cells. Therefore, each of the daughter cells formed will be genetically different. So the answer is option B, genetically different. Question number 23. In ecological succession, the primary succession means the development of communities only on a newly exposed habitat with no record of earlier vegetation. An important characteristic of all communities is that composition and structure constantly change in response to changing environmental conditions. During ecological succession is a series of progressive changes in the species that make up a community is observed. This change is orderly and sequential, parallel with changing in the physical environment. These changes lead finally to a community that is in near equilibrium with the environment. So the answer is option A. Species response and community response will be observed. Question number 24. The scapula is a large triangular flat bone situated in the dorsal part of the thorax between the scapula, it is otherwise called as shoulder blade, consists of a sharp ridge, the spine, and a triangular body. The end of the spine projects as a flattened and a expanded process called as acromion process. This process articulates with the clavicle. The scapula bone is situated in the dorsal part of the thorax between the second and seventh ribs. So the answer is option D, second and seventh ribs. Question number 25. In 1984, Bhopal Gas Tragedy took place because methyl isocyanate. In Bhopal Gas Tragedy, methyl isocyanate, it is commonly called as MIC, reacted with water to produce a large amount of heat as it was an exothermic reaction. Due to the increase in pressure, the safety valve of the tank bursted and the gas came out. So the answer is option D, reacted with water. Question number 26. In Drosophila, a gene for white eye mutation is also responsible for the depigmentation of body parts. Thus, a gene represents single gene affecting the different characters which may be physiologically unrelated. Pleiotropic gene has a multiple phenotypic effect because it can control expression of a number of characters. White eye mutation in Drosophila results in depigmentation in many other parts of the body, giving a pleiotropic effect. So the answer is option D, pleiotropic gene. Question number 27. In a longitudinal section of a root, starting from the tip upward, the four zones occur in the following order. A root shows the following regions: root cap or calyptra, cap-like protective covering over tip of the root. Meristematic region is the subapical position. Zone of elongation receives new cells from the growth point. Root hair zone is the zone of differentiation. Zone of mature cells have thick-walled impermeable cells. So the answer for this question is option A. Root cap, cell division, cell enlargement, cell maturation. Question number 28. Tropic movement is due to. Tropic movements are caused by cell elongation and do not affect the whole plant. Different tropic movements are phototropism, zeotropism, chemotropism, aerotropism. Example: positively aerotropic pneumotropous, dermotropism towards warmth. Example: peduncles of tulip, anemone. Rheotropism, galvanotropism, and tromotropism. So the answer is option A, cell elongation. Question number 29. The Indian population was approximately dash at the time of independence. The Indian population was approximately 350 million at the time of our independence, reached close to the billion marks by 2000 and crossed 1 billion in May 2000. So the answer is option D, 350 million. Question number 30. Match the disease in column 1 with appropriate items. Their pathogen, prevention, treatment in column 2 is given. Amoebiasis and water. Use only sterilized food. Diphtheria, DPT vaccine. Cholera therapy. Use oral rehydration. Syphilis, Trypanosoma pallidum. So the answer is option D. The correctly matching one is option D. Question number 31. Based on different reasons for conserving biodiversity, choose the incorrect one from the following. The broadly utilitarian argument says the biodiversity plays a major role in many ecosystem services that nature provides. Pollination, without which plants cannot give us fruits or seeds, is another service. Ecosystem provide through pollinators, layers, bees, bumblebees, birds, and bats. So the correct option is option C. The benefits of pollination are argued as a reason through a narrowly utilitarian approach. Question number 32. Sickle cell anemia is favored by nature in a malaria prone area. Which of the following category will be favored and what type of selection is it? Balancing selection refers to a number of selective process by which multiple alleles different versions of the gene are actively maintained in the gene pool of a population at frequencies about that of gene mutation. Sickle cell anemia is an abnormality of hemoglobin first reported by an American physician, James B. Herrick, in the year of 1949 in Africa. In sufferers, RBC become crescentic, undergo oxygen deficiency condition and clog blood capillaries causing death. The incidence of sickle cell anemia is more widespread in regions malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum, and earlier it was believed that it was only well established case of balanced polymorphism. When forests were cleared to provide land for agriculture in Africa, it produced more breeding areas for mosquito, Anopheles gambia, and caused spread of malaria. In this changed situation, heterozygotes having both normal and sickle genes got selective advantage as their sickled. RBCs could not support zygogony of malarial parasite but still carried enough oxygen under hypoxia conditions through normal RBCs. Dominant homozygous suffered from malaria and died before reaching sexual maturity because of the inability of blood to carry enough oxygen and clogging of blood capillaries by sickle cells. Therefore, about 25% superiority of heterozygous prevented elimination of the sickle gene and its frequency increases in malarial prone areas. So the answer is option C. Heterozygous female balancing selection. Question number 33. An improved variety of transgenic basmati rice. Golden rice is a new type of rice that contains beta carotene, a source of vitamin A. So the answer is option A. Gives high yield and is rich in vitamin A. Question number 34. Membrane bound organelles are absent in. Membrane bound organelles are absent in Streptococcus. Streptococcus is a bacterium that is included under kingdom Monera. Monerons are prokaryotes which do not have membrane bound organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, etc. Saccharomyces, Chlamydomonas, and Plasmodium are eukaryotes that have membrane bound organelles. So the correct option is option B, Streptococcus. Question number 35. The lock and key model of enzymes action illustrates that a particular enzyme molecule. Emil Fischer in the year of 1894 proposed lock and key theory for the mechanism of enzyme action, according to which the active sites of enzymes have a specific geometric shape wherein the substrate molecules fit in just like a key in a particular lock. In other words, it illustrates that a particular enzyme molecule interacts with a specific type of substrate molecule. So the answer is option B, interacts with a specific type of substrate molecule. Question number 36. Deficiency of which to the following can cause yellowing of intravenous regions of leaves? For the proper growth of plants, some elements are essentially required. These are known as elements. Calcium is used for the synthesis of cell wall. Deficiency of calcium leads to stunted growth and necrosis of root tips and young leaves. Potassium deficiency causes scorched leaf tips, shorter internodes, and chlorosis in interveinal areas. Deficiency of copper shows necrosis of the tips of young leaves, while phosphorus deficiency causes premature leaf falling. So the answer is option B, potassium. Question number 37. In Erythroblastosis Fatalis, The mother starts preparing antibodies against Rh antigen in her blood. In case of her subsequent pregnancies, the Rh antibodies from the mother, Rh negative, can leak into the blood of the fetus, Rh positive, and destroy the fetus RBCs. This could be fatal due to fetus or could cause severe anemia and jaundice to the baby. This condition is called as Erythroblastosis Fatalis. So the answer is option B. Rh antibodies pass from the Rh negative mother to the Rh positive baby through the placenta. Question number 38. Pineapple fruit develops from. Pineapple is a psoriasis type of fruit that develops from spike inflorescence. Here the flowers fuse by their succulent tepals and axis bearing the flowers become fleshy or woody, thus forming a compact mass. These are composite or multiple fruits. So the answer is option D, a cluster of compactly borne flowers on a common axis. Question number 39. In the given surgical method below, which of the following statement is incorrect? The figure shows the tubectomy. This is a surgical method to prevent pregnancy in women. In tubectomy, small part of the fallopian tube is removed or tied through a small cut in the abdomen or through vagina. It is very effective method, but reversibility is very poor. The answer is option C. A small incision is made through the uterus. Question number 40. The cells of the quiescent center are in. Some cells in the adult animals do not appear to exhibit division. Example, heart cells, and many other cells divide only occasionally as needed to replace cells that have been lost because of injury or cell death. These cells that do not divide further exit G1 phase to enter an inactive stage called as quiescent stage G0 of the cell cycle. Cells in this stage remain metabolically active but no longer proliferate unless called on to do so depending upon the requirement of the organism. So the answer is option C, G0 phase. Question number 41. The Hardy-Weinberg principle cannot operate if. The Hardy-Weinberg principle says that allele frequencies in the population are stable and constant from generation to generation as long as the population is large enough and changes in allele frequencies due to chance or accident or insignificant mating occurs at random, mutation does not occur, or if it does not occur, it must reach a state of equilibrium. All the members of the population survive and have equal reproductive rates. Hardy and Weinberg, through this law, have been able to explain why a population as whole with all its variations and genotype frequencies continues to remain unchanged for many generations. So the answer is option B. Frequent mutations occur in the population. Question number 42. Which statement is not related to S-shaped population curve? S-shaped growth curve, it is commonly called as sigmoid growth curve, a pattern of growth in which in a new environment the population density of an organism increases slowly initially in a positive acceleration phase, then increases rapidly approaching an exponential growth rate as in J-shaped curve, but then decline in a negative acceleration phase until at zero growth rate the population stabilizes. The slowing of the rate of growth reflects increasing environmental resistance, which becomes proportionately more important at higher population densities. Hence, the statement both environmental resistance suddenly became effective and mass mortality and population crash occurs is not related to S-shaped population curve? So the answer is option D. Both A and C are not related to S-shaped population curve. Question number 43. Hydra is a Hydra belongs to class Hydrozoa of phylum Coelenterata. Hydra is a freshwater form, radially symmetrical and diploplastic animal. So the answer is option A. Freshwater form, radially symmetrical and diploplastic animals. Question number 44. Gene regulation governing lactose operon of E. coli that involves the LAC1 gene product is. In negative regulations, a repressor molecule binds to the operator of an operon and terminates transcription. The LAC operon is a negatively controlled inducible operon where the inducer molecule is allolactase. So the answer is option B. Negative and inducible because repressor protein prevents transcription. Question number 45. Which one of the following statement is correct regarding blood pressure? A normal blood pressure in a human being is 120/80 mmHg. 80 mmHg is the diastolic or resting pressure and 120 mmHg is systolic or pumping pressure. 140/90 mmHg is high pressure than normal and requires treatment. Otherwise, it may affect vital organs like kidney and brain. It is called hypertension. So the answer is option D. 150/90 mmHg is considered high and required treatment. Question number 46. The order of occurrence of the cytochromes in the F1 particle is. The order of occurrence of the cytochromes in the F1 particles present in the mitochondrial cristae is cytochrome B, cytochrome C, cytochrome A, cytochrome A3. They accept the electron and pass on to the other cytochrome. Cytochrome A3 is oxidoreductive cytochrome. So the answer is option A. Cytochrome B, cytochrome C, cytochrome A, cytochrome A3. Number 47. Match the items in column 1 and column 2 and choose the correct option. Column 1. X-ray radiography. It is matching with Wilhelm Röntgen. Column 1. Angioplasty. From column 2, it is matching with coronary atherosclerosis. From column 1, leukemia is matching with column 2, hematopoietic cells. From column 1, ELISA matching with from column 2, antigen antibody interaction. So the correctly matching option is option C. Question number 48. A population is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium for a gene with only 2 alleles. If the gene frequency of an allele A is 0.7, genotype frequency is capital A, small a is. The gene frequency of capital A, small a is 0.42. Option B is the correct answer. Question number 49. The given figure shows LS of the seed of maize. What do A, B, C and D represent? From the diagrammatic representation, A represent endosperm, B represent scutellum, C represent radicle, D represent coleorhiza. So the correctly matching option is option C. A endosperm, B scutellum, C radicle, D coleorhiza. Question number 50. Which of the following statements true? In myelinated nerve fiber, the myelin sheath is not continuous and remains interrupted at some places. These are known as nodes of Ranvier. These help in the saltatory conditions of no impulse. The non-myelinated nerve fibers do not possess nodes of Ranvier. So the answer is option C. Non-myelinated nerve fibers do not possess nodes of Ranvier. Question number 51. The values of osmotic potential pi and pressure potential P of cells A, B, C and D given below. Identify the correct sequence that shows the path of movement of water from among the following. The movement of water occurs from low dPt cell to high dPd. dPd is equal but opposite to water potential. That means algebraic sum solute or osmotic potential and pressure potential psi W is equal to psi S and psi P. Here they are given water potential and dPd. Option A is dPd is 0.5. Option B dPd is 0.3. Option C dPd is 0.6. Option D dPd is 0.4. So the correct match is option B. Question number 52. Consider the diagram given below and choose correct option. Bulbourethral gland, a pea-sized gland in the male located behind and to side of the urethra that discharges a component of seminal fluid into the urethra. So the answer for this question is option D. Structure D, bulbourethral gland. Function, lubrication of penis. Question number 53. Plasmogamy is fusion of. It is the first stage of sexual reproduction in which cytoplasm of two sex cells fuse with each other. The nuclei of sex cells come close to each other but do not fuse. Thus, the resulting cell becomes binucleate or dikaryon. So, the answer for this question is option B. Two haploid cells without nuclear fusion. Question number 54. The sudden mass killing of fishes is likely to be seen in a. Organic pollutants provide nutrients for stimulating the growth of algae and other plants. Algal bloom reduces the availability of light to submerged plants, consumes more oxygen in decomposition. This reduces the availability of oxygen to other life forms, leading to death of organisms. This is known as eutrophication. So the answer is option D, eutrophic lake. Question number 55. Which of these processes are necessary for the complete development of male gametophyte from pollen mother cell? During microsporogenesis, the sporogenous cells may directly act as microspore mother cells or pollen mother cells. Each pollen mother cells by a meiotic cell division gives rise to a group of 4 haploid microspores, which are combinedly referred to as microspore tetrad. The first mitotic division in a pollen grain or microspore results into 2 unequal cells. The large is the vegetative cell, which is eventually form the pollen tube. The smaller one is the generative cell, which produce the male gametophyte by another mitosis. So the answer for this question is option A, 1 meiotic division and 2 mitotic divisions. Question number 56. Lichens are symbiotic associations between a fungus and algae. Most of these lichens consist of. The lichen fungus is a typically member of the Ascomycota, rarely a member of Basidiomycota. The algal or cyanobacterial cells are photosynthetic and as in higher plants, They reduce atmospheric carbon dioxide into organic carbon sugars to feed both symbionts. Both the partners gain water and mineral nutrients mainly from the atmosphere through rain and dust. The fungal partner protects the algae by retaining water, serving as a larger capture area for mineral nutrients, and in some cases provides minerals obtained from the substratum. If a cyanobacterium is present as a primary partner or another symbiont, in addition to green algae as certain tripartite ligands, they can fix atmospheric nitrogen complementing the activities of the green algae. So the answer for this question is option D, blue green algae and ascomycetes. Question number 57. ECORI always cut DNA molecules at a particular point by recognizing a specific sequence between restriction enzyme, also called as restriction nucleases. ECORI in this example surrounds the DNA molecule at a point it seeks sequence GAATTC. ECORI cuts one strand of DNA double helix at one point and the second strand at different complementary point between G and A base. So the answer is option A, G and A. Question number 58. Which of the following statements regarding universal rules of nomenclature is wrong? There are certain rules. Try to remember. The names are in Latin language, sometimes in Greek language. Generic name begin with capital letter and is placed before specific name. Specific name begins with a small letter. The scientific name should either be underlined or italicized. Name of the authority should be written after specific epithet in abbreviated form. So the answer for this question is option D. Biological names are generally in Greek and written in italics. It is wrongly given. Question number 59. Which one of the following hydrolyzes internal phosphodiester bonds in polynucleotide chain? Endonucleases hydrolyze internal phosphodiester bonds in a polynucleotide chain, it is in DNA, while exonucleases hydrolyze terminal phosphodiester bond in a polynucleotide chain from DNA. So the answer is option C, endonuclease. The next, question number 60. In the lactose operon of E. coli, what is the function of promoter? Promoter gene is the actual site of start of transcription and it is the site where RNA polymerase binds to the DNA prior to beginning of transcription. So the answer is option B, binding of RNA polymerase. Question number 61. Biochemical oxygen demand may not be good index for pollution for water bodies receiving effluents from. Biochemical oxygen demand, it is commonly called as BOD, is not a good index for pollution for water bodies receiving effluents from petroleum industry, as the generated waste is mostly non-biodegradable in nature. So the correct option is option C, petroleum industry. Question number 62. In human body, the role of bile salt in digestion is to. Bile secreted by the liver is an alkaline yellowish green juice that has no enzyme. It is formed of water, sodium, bicarbonates, bile pigments with bilirubin and biliverdin and two bile salts, such as sodium glycolates and sodium tarcholate. Fats are finally emulsified in small intestine by the action of bile salts. So the answer for this question is option B, emulsify fats and facilitate their absorption. Question number 63. Read the following statements carefully. Here there are 5 statements are given. From the 5 statements, how many statements are incorrect? Lipid component of the plasma membrane mainly consists of phospholipids and cholesterol. The cell wall of young plant cell, the primary wall is capable of growth which gradually diminishes as the cell matures, and the secondary wall is formed on the inner towards membrane side of the cell. The polar molecules cannot pass through the non-polar lipid bilayer. They require a carrier protein of the membrane to facilitate their transport across the membrane. So the correct option for this question is option D. Question number 64. Dough kept overnight in warm weather becomes soft and spongy because of bread is prepared from the dough fermented using Bacchus yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. The furped up appearance of dough is due to the production of carbon dioxide during fermentation. Carbon dioxide gas along with ethyl alcohol evaporates during baking, making bread porous and soft. The dough is thick, elastic paste made up of atta flour of any cereals. Leavening is the process of the rise of dough or batter by fermentation. The secretion of 3 enzymes causes it by yeast amylase, maltase, and zymase. So the answer for this question is option D, fermentation. Question number 65. Which one of the following is a viral disease of poultry? Bird flu resembles influenza and is caused by virus H5N1. The virus enters the man through chicken. So the answer is option A, bird flu. Question number 66. An organism with 2 identical alleles for a given trait is the homozygote is a pure for the character and breeds true. That is, it gives rise to offspring having the same character on self-breeding. For example, capital T or small t. So the answer is option A, homozygous. Question number 67. Here there are 5 points are given. From that, how many points are correct about Obelia? Obelia belong to phylum Coelenterata, that is Nidaria. They have radial symmetry, tissue levels of organization, and are diploblastic and have metagenesis. Polyps produce medusa asexually and medusa from the polyps sexually. Digestion is both extracellular and intracellular. So the answer for this question is option B. From the given 5 statements, there are 3 statements are correct about Obelia. Question number 68. Which of the following protein is produced by genetic engineering as a cure for disease like emphysema? Alpha 1 antitrypsin deficiency, that is alpha 1 is a genetic inherited condition. It is passed from parents to their children through their genes. Alpha 1 may result in serious lung disease in adult or liver disease at any age. Alpha 1 is the most common known genetic risk factor for emphysema. Alpha 1 antitrypsin can be produced by genetic engineering as cure for disease like emphysema. So the answer is option A, alpha 1 antitrypsin. Question number 69. Which of the following is considered as sugar factory of the cell? The synthesis of sugar takes place during photosynthesis in chloroplast of autotrophic eukaryotes. So the answer is option A, chloroplast. Question number 70. What will be the linkage strength present between two genes A and B, which are 6 centimeter far from each other on a chromosome? The intergene distance on the chromosome cannot be measured in the customary units employed in light microscopy. Geneticists used a arbitrary units to measure the map unit to describe distance between linked genes. A map unit is equal to 1% of crossovers. That is, it represents the linear distance along the chromosome for which a recombination frequency of 1% is observed. These distances can also be expressed in Morgan units. 1 Morgan unit represent 100% crossing over. So here linkage strength is present between two genes A and B is 94% because they are 6 centimeter far from each other in chromosome. So the answer is option C, 94%. Question number 71. Which of the following is an example of negative feedback loop in humans? When the step point of hypothalamus is disturbed by high temperature, it stimulates vasodilation and sweating, while in low temperature there is vasoconstriction and shivering. So the answer is option D, constriction of skin, blood vessels and contraction of skeletal muscles when it is too cold. Question number 72. Choose the wrong statement. Morels and truffles are edible fungi belonging to the class Ascomycetes. So the answer for this question is option B. Morels and truffles are poisonous mushrooms. That is wrong statement. Question number 73. The sperm produces substances of enzymatic nature called sperm lysine. In mammals, it is called hyaluronidase, corona penetrating enzyme, and acrosin are collectively called sperm lysine and are released from the acrosome during acrosomal reaction after the sperm entry. So the answer is option A. Question number 74. Which step of translation does not consume a high energy phosphate bond? The order and sequence of amino acid are defined by the sequence of bases in mRNA. The amino acids are joined by a bond which is known as a peptide bond. Formation of a peptide bond requires energy. Therefore, in the first phase itself, amino acids are activated in the presence of ATP and linked to their cognate tRNA, process commonly called as charging of tRNA or amino acylation of tRNA to be more specific. If two such charged tRNA are brought close enough, the formation of peptide bond between them would be favored energetically. The presence of catalyst would enhance the rate of peptide bond formation. So the answer for this question is option A, translocation. Question number 75. Which of the following is not uricotelic? The removal of nitrogenous waste in the form of uric acid is called as uricotelism, and the insects, birds and reptiles, frog is an. So the answer is option D. Question number 76. Endothelium layer of Anterlope is present. The structure of microsporangium in a transverse section. A typical microsporangium appears nearly circular in outline. It is generally surrounded by 4 wall layers: the epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and the tapetum. The outer 3 wall layers perform the function of protection and help in dehiscence of anther to release the pollen. The innermost wall layer is the tapetum. It nourishes the developing pollen grains. Cells of the tapetum possesses dense cytoplasm and generally have more than one nucleus. So the answer for this question is option B, just inside the epidermis. Question number 77. Agarose, extracted from seaweeds, finds used in gel electrophoresis. Agarose, extracted from seaweed, used as agarose gel, a gel made of 0.7% agarose show good resolution of large DNA, and 2% agarose will show good resolution of small fragments. So the answer is option D, gel electrophoresis. Question number 78. Stalk with ovules remain attached to the placenta is called. Funicle is the stalk of an ovule by which it is attached to the placenta. Rape is an elongated mass of tissues containing vascular bundle and lying on the side of an anatropous ovule between the salazar and attachment to the placenta. Hilum is the scar on the testa where it was attached to the funicle. Salazar is opposite side of the side bearing micropyle of ovule. So the answer is option A, funicle. Question number 79. The four diagrams are given. A, B, C and D given below represent four different types of animal tissues. Which one of these is correctly identified in a option given along with its correct location and function? See the diagrammatic representation. Compound squamous epithelium is a type of tissue that makes up skin layers and lines some body cavities and organs. Its structure makes it an excellent protective layer. So the answer for this question is option D. Question number 80. Seedless banana is. Parthenocarpy is the phenomena of formation of fruit without fertilization. Usually, these parthenocarpic fruits are seedless. Example: seedless banana, seedless grapes, seedless oranges. So the answer is option A, parthenocarpic fruit. Question number 81. Which one of the following statement is incorrect? Phloem parenchyma is a simple parenchyma cells that contain cytoplasm, vacuole and nucleus. They are found in association with CO tubes and companion cells. They have thin cell wall and used in food storage and transport of foods. Sieve elements are usually enucleated, although they are living cells and are thus completely dependent upon the associated companion cells, leading to the concept of the sieve element, companion cell complex. So the answer is option D. Enucleated condition is found in phloem parenchyma. That is the incorrect statement. Question number 82. Potato and sweet potato. Analogous organs are those organs which are different in origin but similar in function. Potato and sweet potato are absolutely different in their origin, as potato is modified underground stem while sweet potato is tuberous root. It means both have edible parts which are different organs. So the answer is option B, have edible parts which are analogous organs. Question number 83. Which of the following is correct representation of detritus food chain? It begins with detritus such as dead bodies of animals or fallen leaves which are then eaten by decomposers or detrivores. These detrivores are in turn consumed by their predators. So the answer is option A. Detritus is a dead organic matter. Detrivores are decomposers. Question number 84. The treatment of snake bite by antivenin is an example of. It results by transfer of antibodies produced in the body of one individual into the body of another individual through injection. In this immunity, serum of animals, for example, antibodies obtained from hyperimmunized horses are injected into humans against rabies pathogen. Antibodies used for controlling tetanus and diphtheria used to be cultured in horses and injected into humans. Example: ATS against tetanus, antivenom against snake bite. So the answer for this question is option B, artificially acquired passive immunity. Next question is question number 85. Name the ion responsible for unmasking of active sites for myosin for cross-bridge activity during muscle contraction. Calcium ions bind with TNC unit of troponin, which is responsible for the unmasking of active sites for myosin for cross-bridge activity during muscle contraction. So the answer is option A, calcium. Question number 86. Eutrophication of water bodies leading to killing of fishes is mainly due to non-availability of. During eutrophication of water bodies, BOD level increases due to rapid growth of microbes. So the answer is option C, oxygen. Question number 87. Pollination in water hyacinth is through. Pollination in water hyacinth takes place through insect. Although these plants are aquatic, but they are pollinated by insects. So the answer for this question is option C, insect. Question number 88. Electrons from excited chlorophyll molecule of photosystem 2 are first accepted by. Electrons from excited chlorophyll molecule of photosystem 2 are accepted first by plastoquinone. Photosystem 2 is photosynthetic pigment system along with some electron carriers that is located in the oppressed part of the granothylakoids. Photosystem 2 has chlorophyll A band carotenoids. Other components of photosystem 2 are pyopytin, plastoquinone, cytochrome complex, and blue colored copper containing plastocyanin. So the answer for this question is option C, plastoquinone. Question number 89. Which of the following muscular disorder is inherited? Muscular dystrophy is an autosomal dominant disorder that refers to a group of disorders that involve a progressive loss of muscle mass and consequent loss of strength. The most common form of Duchenne muscular dystrophy is typically affects young boys, but other variations can strike in adulthood. Muscular dystrophy is caused by genetic mutations that interfere with the production of muscle proteins that are needed to build and maintain healthy muscles. The cause are genetic. So the answer for this question is option B, muscular dystrophy. And the last question, which of the following enzyme is produced by yeast during fermentation? During fermentation, yeast synthesizes the enzyme zymase. So the correct option for this question is option B, zymase. Thank you for watching our videos. Those who are listening our videos, you are requested to like, subscribe and share to your friends. All the best.